Hello everyone, and welcome to Divine Debut. This is Kathy speaking. Here we're with another astrological forecast update of where we are at this time, at this moment. Today is the 21st of December. Happy solstice, everyone. Happy winter solstice if you're in the northern hemisphere, and happy summer solstice if you're in the southern hemisphere. And from what I hear from those that are in the southern hemisphere, the weather hasn't been that summery or coming up to summer. I want to wish you a happy birthday as the sun is ingressing into Capricorn. Dear Capricorn friends, happy birthday to you. This is your solar return. Obviously, we're having a new moon on the 2nd of January. So a new moon in Capricorn. Remember, a new moon is for everyone, but especially for Capricorn individuals. The new moon is just around the corner, 2nd of January. I'll be doing another video for that. For those of you that are on Patreon, do join us there as we go into the details concerning the new and full moon weather, astrological weather. Okay, everyone, so 21st of December, just like with the solstice, where the energies, the energetic frequencies are shifting. We're moving into Capricorn season, which Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, everyone. We're a few days before Christmas, and I'd like to wish you all a happy, Merry Christmas and a happy festive season to those of you that do not celebrate Christmas. Happy holidays also, and let's hope that 2022 will be a less challenging year, which I feel it will be the case. And let's put an end to 2020 and 2021's madness, as we've been going through many challenges now, leading on to a new year as Jupiter will ingress into Pisces, which is a very positive sign. Obviously, Jupiter will once more leave Aquarius as it did in May, in summer. Speaking of being in the northern hemisphere, obviously this chart is for northern Greece, Thessaloniki, so don't worry about the rising sign. Okay, don't pay attention to the rising sign. As the rising is showing Taurus, 29th degree of Taurus, which is happening now as I'm doing this video in the area of northern Greece. But going back to Jupiter, as I said, so for the northern hemisphere, Jupiter did step into Pisces up until the 2nd degree, and he will be revisiting this area, which is a very positive sign. This will be happening on the 29th, depending on where you are in the world, 29th of December. So this is very positive indeed. Jupiter does speak to the energy of Sagittarius. Remember, he rules Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, let's speak of Sag energy as also the nodes. The nodes will be leaving the axis Sagittarius, South Node and North Node in Gemini. So Sagittarius and Gemini, and also the mutable signs, as well as, Pisces and Virgo, will be off the hook concerning fated changes in their lives, in our lives, I should say, because I'm a Virgo. Now the nodes are shifting into South Node in Scorpio and the North Node in Taurus. And the nodes will be shifting on the 18th, roughly, of January of the new year. But speaking of Sagittarius, Sagittarius is mutable fire. It's expansive, it's optimistic, it's adventurous. It is all about truth and justice and freedom, the freedom to think, the freedom to act. Remember, fire is all about action. The freedom to be able to believe. Remember that Sagittarius rules our beliefs, our religion, our philosophies, all those things come under Sagittarius. And so obviously Jupiter is that signature, but Jupiter in Aquarius, not as strong as it would be in its home sign in Aquarius, right? But Jupiter is looking forward to moving out of Aquarius into Pisces, where it's its rulership. So it will be very strong. Jupiter in Pisces is very magical. It's very much about the divine spiritual support. And, well, Jupiter is all about the truth, whereas Neptune, which is transiting through its home sign of Pisces, is all about that illusion, those lies, that deception. So Jupiter should be bringing us the truth concerning anything to do with unclear matters, things that have been swept under the carpet or held secret. Okay, Jupiter and Neptune are quite similar in the fact that they both are very spiritual and very, remember that Neptune is an outer planet. It's very ethereal. It's very much about togetherness. We are all one. Jupiter can bring people together in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the population, it's the people. It can bring people together, but it can also split people apart, because where there's injustices or lack of truth, Jupiter is all about the truth, and it's all about, it also rules politics. You know, we are all one, but do we all need to have the same opinion? No, we don't. We are all one. We can hold it together as long as we stand in our truth. And, you know, politics is all about respecting the other person, not pushing your thoughts, your perceptions, your beliefs onto other people. And we know that with Jupiter, with the South Node in Sagittarius and the North Node in Gemini, there's been a lot of, you know, segregation of humanity. People hold on to their old beliefs. With the South Node here in Sagittarius, it's all about letting go of those old dogmatic beliefs, being open to seeing the truth. That's what Sagittarius and Jupiter rule. So as Jupiter is going to ingress back into Pisces, it is going to bring a lot of magic, I do believe, but it can expand also on the illusion. So remember that Jupiter, whatever it touches on, it does expand it. So whether it's positive or negative, it can go either way. Now, the positive with Jupiter is that he's more positive, more benevolent than a malevolent planet. So he's more on the positive side. Remember also always that truth stands, deception and lies have got a time frame where they will be shown to us. You know, think of yourself or think of someone else, remembering how something is, whether it's, if it's a truth that they've shared with you, then the truth is always going to stand. It's got two legs to stand on, whereas the deception and the lie only has one leg to step on. Jupiter also rules wisdom, so it's a time of needing to have that wider perspective, use your higher mind, connect to spirit, to be able to see through the cloud. Okay. Now, we have Venus retrograding. As you can see here, Venus stopped, she's stationed at the 27th degree and has turned retrograde. She's been retrograde a couple of days now, and on the same day we also had Chiron in Aries that stationed and turned direct. So Venus retrograding through the Saturn-ruled sign of Capricorn. Obviously, Capricorn is the mature one, it's the elderly, it's the needing to do the work sign, needing to be that mountain goat and have the ability to, overcome any obstacles ahead of us. So Venus rules love, money, and our values. She's stationed and turned retrograde, but she's already connected with Pluto once as she passed over Pluto. So that was a few days ago. Now in a couple of days, she'll be on Pluto, actually on Christmas Day, everyone. She'll be on Pluto. So we're in those energies now. We know that Pluto transforms anything that cannot stand, anything that is not of integrity, truth, and it's a very maturing time where matters of love is concerned. Now, of course, Capricorn naturally rules our goals and our aspirations, our career, and our social standing in the world. So that's what we're really looking at with Venus retrograding through the sign of Capricorn. She will turn direct end of January of 2022. So around Christmas, and even now, today being the 21st of December, we're already feeling the energy of Pluto's breath on Venus. Now, Venus is transforming. She's going into the underworld. So she's going to, just like the phoenix, she's going to rise up out of her ashes. So this is a very significant time for matters of love, relationships of all sorts, and romantic and relationships like family, friends, all our relationships. Venus also rules what is valuable to us, what we own, monetary things in our life. And remember that Pluto also means riches. So therefore, whatever this transit of Venus retrograding in Capricorn is, it does speak to either gaining access to riches, material, emotional riches, in our life, and whatever hasn't been working for us, we are going to let it go. That's what I feel that Venus in Capricorn retrograde, as she will be dealing with Pluto, is talking about. It's going to be quite, she's going to stay in Capricorn for quite some time. Now, as I said, we're already in these energies, in this frequency. We've also got Saturn squaring over to Uranus, as you could see. Uranus is still retrograde. He will be moving direct in January of next year. And they're coming very close to the point that Christmas Eve, they will be squaring exact. Now, Uranus is the new, Saturn is the old. They've been clashing all year. And this is, I feel it's a very strong pivotal point, as they will continue to square through 2022, but they will not be so, it won't be such a strong peak where they'll be exactly squaring each other. It will be more of a longer sort of a square, but not so exact next year, roughly around the second, the second part of the year. So around about October, we'll be revisiting this story, this narrative. We know that Saturn can be very limiting and restricting and challenging and karmic. Okay, it's got to do with old matters, the way things used to work. Uranus wants to do things differently in a totally new and futuristic way. The thing is, can we use both the archetypes to find the middle ground? That's what Spirit is asking of us. And remember, again, I'm going to say that Saturn does speak usually to the elder, the wiser, the maybe even governments, the boss, people that are in positions of power, right? Establishments, groups of people that that are in power are squaring over to Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus is finding the new way, seeking the new way to to rebel, to change. Remember, Uranus is very much like a tower moment. And because Taurus is Venus, it's very relative to this Venus retrograde, obviously. So finding new ways to do things, to move forward and get unstuck where we have been stuck, because remember that Taurus is fixed earth, and Uranus can speak to stress, anxiety, nervousness. It is our physical body, and we know that we have been going through a lot of stress about what's going on in the world, in our personal lives as well. Okay, and so, yeah, Christmas Eve is when they're going to be connecting exactly. We've had a beautiful sextile about a day ago. The Sun with Jupiter, they're still fairly close, so the sextile is still relevant here. You know, the Sun being, you know, our light, our life, our ego, our vitality, our identity. Jupiter coming up to the 29th degree, which is a critical degree, is trying to bring in the truth, or to, we can say, heal as well. Heal and bring a sense of optimism amongst the people, amongst the masses, and bring a sense of vitality and healing, I would say, through a form of justice. Now, this is divine help with a sextile, 60 degrees. The divine help is there. Do we utilize it is the question. Okay, and remember that the Sun can also speak to leadership, taking lead. The Sun does rule Leo. Leo is generosity. It's the ability to create, to take risks. Right? So the Sun is also sextiling over to Hygeia, the asteroid of health, everyone. So remember that the Sun and Jupiter, it's as though they're connecting. So this is this is like a feeling of feeling vibrant and seeking vitality, seeking the truth, seeking the ability to expand, to heal through truth, through going on that adventure, through seeking new ways to do things, to do medicine. Remember that Hygeia speaks to our physical, but also could be our emotional health. She is transiting through Libra, which Libra is justice and relationships. Have you been in a balanced and harmonized relationship? Okay, because Hygeia is also trining over to Jupiter, and as you can see here, there's a grand trine, which is very flowing, helpful energy. And this trine is happening in air signs, so Libra, Aquarius, and Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is like our shadow side. She is quite challenging, so remember that Black Moon Lilith can be sort of emotional, psychological, stressful situations, or sort of thinking the worst, expecting the worst. Black Moon Lilith, I see her as a darker shade of Venus. So remember that we all have our light and our shadow side. So does Venus. Okay, so Black Moon Lilith can be challenging, but I feel that Jupiter coming closer to the critical degree, as is Black Moon Lilith. Remember that Gemini is all about making decisions, holding on to logic, looking at things from a logical way. Gemini is the left side of the brain, so things, we're needing to look at things through a logical perspective, but also there is help from spirit, from the higher realms, our higher mind, concerning matters of health. Okay, and also Hygeia trining over. A trine is always very positive, so therefore we could also have news, positive news concerning matters of health and what's going on in the world with the epidemic. Now we've got a beautiful kite here that is formed, and the focal point is Black Moon Lilith, but remember that the sun is at the base here, which the sun does speak to the heart. So coming through with heartfelt energies. Again, Sagittarius is all about freedom. It's at a critical degree, the sun as well. So we're coming from an expansive, truthful, adventurous frequency, and we know that, you know, Capricorn is more serious. The sun is preparing to ingress, and as the sun ingresses into Capricorn, the energies will shift. Capricorn is more serious, it's more mature, it's more grounding. But do not lose faith, as remember I did say that the sun is connecting really well to Jupiter, and Jupiter will be revisiting this very important first degree of Pisces, which was where he stationed in May and end of July of this year. Okay. So it's really, really important to say that, you know, as Chiron stationed and turned direct, he's picking up pace slowly, but getting there, and he's in trine to Mars and to, well, the South Node is still fairly close, but Mars in Sagittarius has just come off the South Node, is coming off the South Node, so there's a sense of the ability to feel free, that we've sort of shed all that heaviness that we've been holding on to, some karma that we've been holding on to, and I truly believe as Mars at the end of the year will touch on that 12th degree of that. Remember that solar eclipse in Sagittarius and Gemini, the new moon on the 4th of December? Mars is going to sort of trigger that, and remember it's an eclipse, which eclipses always speak to something being eclipsed from our life so that we could make space for something new, and it was a very powerful new moon in a very positive sign as we are leaving and shedding the past karma, past heaviness, and it's as though we're closing up a cycle of a year and a half now, as the nodes take 18 months to move through an axis, and the nodes are preparing to ingress into Scorpio and Taurus. So again, around the 18th of January, the energies will shift greatly. Okay, from mutable energies to fixed energies, and I've been saying that obviously all year. The fixed signs, so Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarius and Leo, have been in hardship because of this ongoing square with Uranus and Saturn all year. But remember that with eclipses, as the nodes, the nodal axis will change signs, as well as the energies changing. This will bring on fated changes. For those who have not been on the correct path, they will be put on the correct path. And remember also that we've all got Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo in our charts in some area of life. Now we're also looking towards the sun quincunxing the North Node, and quincunx is an inconjunction. Let's look at that. So we could see that the sun is here and the North Node is here. So an inconjunction is 150 degrees. So an inconjunction is not an opposition. An opposition, remember, is like two sides where we're hoping to find the middle ground Well, the in conjunction is sort of like needing to, or in preparation mode, to be able to move forward and try and see maybe the other person's perspective, or do the work that is necessary, change something. Okay, change something. Something something is off kilter, if I can use that term. Okay, so obviously the sun, remember, is what we see. It's all those things that I mentioned before. And the North Node is us getting uncomfortable, moving towards the North Node, which is our fate moving forward. And obviously, here we are. We've got Saturn on the 23rd coming up to the 24th, practically exact here. Okay, so this is tough. This is not easy, especially coming up to Christmas and, you know, the festive season. Remember that these are slow-moving planets, Saturn and Uranus, so they will be breaking away after the 24th, but they'll be slowly breaking away. It takes time. So it's like hitting a peak on Christmas Eve. Roughly at the same time, we've got Mars trining over to Chiron, as you can see here. So it's interesting, you know, because Mars rules Aries. Chiron is transiting through Aries. So this open wound, there's helpful energies here with the trine. And Mars is sort of spreading his wings here. He's got the courage. Remember, he's the soldier. He's the gutsy one. He's the warrior that wants to move forward. He's driven by his desire. He wants to go on that adventure. He wants to explore. So you remember that obviously a fire sign, Sagittarius and Aries, are connected through a trine. Now I wanted to go back just for a moment to Venus and Pluto, saying that this is a very important time for obviously Capricorn people, but also because you know, Earth, Capricorn trines over to Virgo as well as Taurus. So this is very challenging but also positive for the Earth signs. Now again, I'm going to say we've all got Virgo and Taurus and Capricorn in our charts. I also wanted to mention that for Cancer, who is right across, because we always look at the axis, Cancer is across from Capricorn. So those of you that are rising or sun in Cancer, Venus and Pluto are retrograding. Well, Pluto is not retrograding, Venus is, but she is connecting with Pluto in your house of relationships. So it's very, very significant for the Cancerian people. And as I have been saying with Venus and Pluto, Venus moving through Capricorn, now Venus is quite comfortable in Capricorn. She gets along with Saturn. I would say that because Venus in a Saturn-ruled sign, you know, when the work has been done, there's been integrity and truth, and someone's proving themselves that they could, you know, they could stand in a position of power, take a lead in matters of love and what it is that we love. Then the rewards come. That's what Saturn is. Saturn brings the rewards, and this is rewards, Venusian rewards that we will be receiving. So it's make or break, everyone. It's either we do the work and we are provided for, or we provide others with something stable, right? So we provide let's say, something of security to others. So we receive the rewards, but we've also got the ability to provide the security or that long-term commitment to our beloveds. So it can, you know, we have to see things from both perspectives. Now, let's move forward. Remember, let's just go back to Chiron for a second. This is the open wound. So this is someone having the courage and maybe even willing to go on that adventure, take that leap of faith. This is someone that's got a wider vision, more expanded vision on the potential of taking a risk, of doing the work, and leading, I'm going to say, because Aries is the seed that we plant. Aries rules leadership, right? It's cardinal fire. And the sun has just ingressed into a cardinal earth sign. So it's all about getting grounded now. But this is sort of like the indication that someone is willing to plant that seed, even though they're carrying an open wound. They've got the ability to heal something that they are carrying. They're finding a solution to plant that seed and go on that journey. And Chiron is also the medicine man, in other words. So it can relate to medicines, it can relate to healing, the healing of humanity, the possibility to have the ability to take action, to speak truth, to let go of old ways or old beliefs or old, and even with Saturn, remember, in Aquarius, Saturn being that sort of wet blanket or that fear that is amongst the population, amongst the maverick that wants to take a leap of faith. Remember that Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is not in a strong position here, but Uranus nevertheless is electrical. It's communication, it's sudden volts of electricity coming through, shocking events, shocking sudden turn of events that bring breakthroughs. Now Venus is going to connect once more, as you could see here. She's already connected with Pluto. We're looking at Christmas Day. They're exact actually, even at the minute here. So Venus has passed over Pluto and she is retrograding. She will go back to the 11th degree. I also wanted to point out Juno, the asteroid of commitments, being here is very interesting as well, because Venus is going to be touching on Juno as well as Mercury. Now Mercury is very playful, very childlike. Mercury is sort of needing to grow up quickly here. Mercury does rule matters of health as well as childlike energies, information, collaboration, commerce, doing the work, learning things. This is like a youngster or a young student having to wear big shoes. Okay, now Mercury rules a Virgo as well as Gemini, and Mercury is also very soon to retrograde. Mercury is never outside of the party, I have to mention that. So Gemini and Virgo individuals out there, you're always in, the big parties. What's going on? So you're always there. So you're used to this, but remember that, and Capricorn being sort of, the shady side, the dark side of Capricorn, which is Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn. And remember, all signs, please, dear Capricorn people, do not take this as me being negative with you. I feel that all signs are equal. We all have our positive and our negative sides. The shadow side to Capricorn, I've got a couple of best friends that are Capricorn individuals, and I get along with them like a house on fire. I love Capricorn people. They're very dependable. They're always there. They're so hardworking. What else can I say? And they're usually much more mature than their actual age. But the shadow side to Saturn is fear. And it's also about karma and timing. So We're dealing with karma right now, everyone. And we're all going to have to go through a sobering, maturing stage the next 40 days and 40 nights when Venus will be retrograding in this area. Now, with Juno here, the asteroid of commitment, if you remember, Juno was, in mythology, she was the wife of Jupiter. And because Jupiter was never faithful, Juno also had that dark side to her, which was her seeking revenge on or from Jupiter's lovers and his offspring. So Juno she was, the pillar of strength. Actually, they didn't share children. Jupiter and Juno did not share children. He actually had his offspring with other goddesses. But Juno was the pillar of the home. She was the fire. She kept the fire burning. She was very much the pillar of strength around Jupiter and his life. So I'm going to say that it could be, yes, it could be a bit of a vindictive time as well, but also needing to hold the fort. This is where we need to prove ourselves. Are we willing to invest without having the return yet? Without having the return yet, because we are not going to see the rewards or the return as long as Venus is retrograding, and I feel as long as Venus is transiting through Capricorn, because I feel as she will ingress into Aquarius later down the track, that's when, remember, Aquarius is detachment. She will be sort of shedding that shady, that challenging, that scary period in her life where she had to be very mature and grow quickly. Just like when Penelope was kidnapped by Pluto and taken into the underworld. She was kidnapped from her mother. She was taken into the underworld. Hades kidnapped her. Pluto took her into the underworld. But, she sort of detached from her mother. That umbilical cord was cut, and she had to take the throne next to Pluto and be the goddess of the underworld, which was also quite rewarding for her. Anyway, as mythology goes, mythology is like a reflection of what's going on in our life right now, what's going on in the ethers, and how we are personally as well as collectively affected at these days. So, okay, let's move forward. Now, I'm not mentioning about the moon, anything about the moon, because, recently we've had a full moon in Gemini on the 19th, so a couple of days ago. But the moon moves very quickly, and we don't have any full moons or new moons in this time, or any eclipses. So, as the moon changes, shifts, signs, so do our emotions every 2.5 days. So whatever each zodiac sign, whatever the archetype means and the energies that it portrays is how we feel as the moon is transiting through those signs. So obviously Christmas and the day after Christmas, the moon will be transiting through Virgo, so it's all about providing a service to our beloved, to our loved ones. Virgo is very nurturing, providing, very similar to the mother. As many of you have probably noticed, when we look at an illustration of Virgo, the archetype Virgo, many times she's holding some wheat in her hand, so she provides through a motherly archetype way. So it's providing service to others, getting together with family, doing the work, rolling up those sleeves. Okay, and just after that, here we are, we've got Jupiter on the 26th, very close to changing signs. Let's move forward. So on the 27th of 2021, Hygeia is changing signs, actually ingressing into Scorpio. And there's a beautiful trine over to Jupiter. This is very, very positive indeed. Okay, so I don't know, this could be a pretty good day, as we've got the moon trining over to Saturn here. But remember, this doesn't last too long. We've still got, this square, obviously, the outer planets are very slow moving. The moon luckily moves quickly concerning this square from the moon to Black Moon Lilith, but Black Moon Lilith is also sextiling over to Uranus. So where there's been challenges, this is, helpful energy coming from the divine. We could break free from anything that was sort of stunting our growth or our forward momentum. Now, Hygeia moving into Scorpio. Scorpio is also, it's poison, but it's also elixir. So positive trine over to Jupiter, a sense of release and a sense of, he's completed his challenging cycle through Aquarius. Because remember, if we look back, even in 2020, the beginning of the the challenging times that we've been moving through the past couple of years, Jupiter was up here with Pluto and Saturn. So Jupiter was in a difficult position. He has been ever since 2020. So now he's preparing to ingress into Pisces, which, and if we look at, the cycle of Jupiter, we've all got Jupiter within us. We all have these archetypes within us, and these beam from our inner and higher self outwards. So the signature of Jupiter is expansion, growth, and a sense of freedom, and we will all feel this. Okay, a sense of freedom, and we're out of those difficult times. With Jupiter and Pisces, we felt a sense of freedom, and like there were no more worries in the world, like the nightmare was over for some time. Let's see what Jupiter, coming back to those same degrees at the beginning of Pisces, will show at this point. I just noticed the 1111 up here. That's really interesting, everyone. Virgo and Pisces, 1111. The portal opens. Let's move forward. Okay, so on the 28th, depending again, I'm going to say where you are in the world, Jupiter has now ingressed on the 29th. This is 3 in the afternoon, Greek time. Obviously, you can always Google it and see in your own country what time this will be happening. This is very significant indeed. It's wonderful to see. And obviously it's very, very positive for the mutable signs. For Pisces, for Virgo, if we think of Virgo, if you're Virgo sun or rising, Jupiter is entering your 7th house. It has been challenging, dear Virgo, as Neptune has been moving through your 7th. Obviously for Pisces, it's all about you. So congratulations, and this will be very positive for all the water signs, as the water signs are connected through a trine. So Scorpio and Cancer, very positive for you guys. And just on that note, Aries, you've got something to look forward to, as Jupiter will quickly come into your sign, looking at mid-2022 roughly, but do connect with me on Patreon as we go into a lot of details concerning the astrology moving forward. Okay, so 29th of December, let's move forward. 30th of December, the moon is moving through Scorpio, so we go deep. Scorpio moon is never an easy moon. We've got Uranus trining over to the sun. That is incredible. I love it. So beautiful help coming from the divine, from spirit. And remember, Uranus is sudden changes, the ability to move forward, to break the barriers, to free ourselves, and the sun obviously brings the vitality, a sense of love comes with it, and healing, and we're releasing anything that was too stressful for us. Mars now, everyone, is at the degree of that solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and Mars is also sextiling over to Saturn. That's a good one. The moon is also sextiling on this day over to Venus and Pluto. So lots could be happening here. We have got the ability to go deep. The moon in Scorpio is very deep. It's connecting very, very deeply, emotionally. Okay, even connecting with our psyche. Remember that Scorpio goes very deep. Pluto is transformative, and the fact that the moon here is in Scorpio and it's connecting over to Pluto, which Pluto rules Scorpio. This is an emotionally transformative time. It could also be a deep connection, a very deep connection, which helps bring on a sense of transformation with everything or anything that we love. Okay, yeah, this is still ongoing here, Jupiter and Hygeia. It will be ongoing for a little while. Look out for the news, look out for truths being revealed, a lot of deception and lies and untruths coming from mainstream media, information being withheld. Jupiter is going to bring all that up. Okay, remember also I wanted to say on this day, because the moon is in an inconjunction to Eris, the goddess of war and chaos. She takes to the streets and she asks for justice, and she has the ability to transform. She's doing the work here. So I don't know if this will, because remember Eris is the sister of Mars, and Mars is on the degree of the eclipse. So I don't know what's going on with people, with the human race, with this square, you know, this sort of trying to release ourselves from any mandates that have been very dark, very shadowy, very restricting. Let's move forward. And the last day of the year, as you can see, also the moon now that has ingressed into Sagittarius is in a beautiful trine over to Chiron. Remember that not long ago the moon passed over Hygeia, so it could relate to any karma around matters of health, our practical health, our emotional health, or our ability to move forward and expand our knowledge, our wisdom, have that higher perspective, and also to release any karma or any fears connected to the past. And we've got another grand trine here in water this time, and we see Jupiter being the leader here. So it's very positive for water signs. All right, everyone, I think that I will leave it there. I think I've mentioned everything that is necessary and very important for this time. I want to thank you so much for joining me here. Lots of love to all of you. Enjoy your holidays. Do consider joining us on Patreon, as we do talk a lot of mythology. We look at the finer details of the astrology, the astrological weather. We look closely at the eclipses, the new moons, the full moons. Do join us on Patreon if you do wish to do so. And we also, those of you that would like to join on Tier 1, Tier 1 is you get all the extended readings that we do each month. You get all of them for the price of purchasing only one through my website. So it is worth it. Many people have joined on Tier 1 and then they've decided to come to Tier 3, which is most of the astrology. Tier 2 also receives astrology. They receive the new moon and the full moon, and especially when those new and full moons are eclipses, they receive those as well. So do consider that. We are becoming a bigger family, a bigger soul family, and a lot is, Divine Debut 11 is about learning, is about awareness, and, how the astrological weather affects our own personal lives and also the collective of the cosmos. So it is very fascinating, very interesting, and it's whatever's going on up there is a reflection down here. As above, so below. All right, everyone. Love and light to all of you. I'm wishing you all the best. And thank you so much for your support, your love, and commenting all year. That helps a lot. Ta-da, everyone.